All right, everyone. So this week, we're finally going to get around to talking about one of the most important bands in hard rock, metal, grunge, whatever, wherever you want to put them. They fit into a lot of different boxes. Yeah, we did talk about Jar of Flies on the grunge episode.
Great album.
We specifically wanted to give that album its attention that it deserves. Typically, when we do a discography, we do not discuss EPs.
Correct.
And we wanted to make sure that Jar of Flies got a spotlight on it because it's a masterpiece, which you'll see if you haven't listened to that episode. Go back and listen to the grunge episode. One of the few albums that got the coveted 666 rating. We all gave it a 6. It's a masterpiece.
Perfect.
I know it's an EP, but
doesn't matter. It's great.
So if you want to hear that, that's not going to be included in this episode. We're specifically going to be talking about the 3 albums that came when Lane Staley was still a part of the band. He unfortunately went to his untimely death. So, that said, Justin's going to kick this one off for us today.
Yep. We're going to kick it off with Facelift, which is the debut full-length album, released August 28th, 19. It was 12 songs, 54 minutes. The lineup for this album was Lane Staley on lead vocals, Jerry Cantrell on guitar and backing vocals, Mike Starr on bass, and Sean Kinney on drums. It opened with We Die Young with an aggressive, dirty riff, and Lane coming right out with a gritty vocal in the verses. But then he belts out that chorus, quickly showing off some of his range. Lyrically, this deals with the struggles of addiction, setting the gloomy mood of...
Yeah, where's the grunge, man? This shit is fucking metal, in my opinion.
It is.
And that is not a bad thing.
We're talking 1990, so grunge is still, this is before Nevermind, so.
Yeah. This is definitely how you start an album, though. The fucking guitar tone is heavy and dirty as fuck. And the solos cause extreme
melting. Man in the Box. You can argue this is the band's most iconic song. Currently sitting at 390 million streams on Spotify. It has an infectious riff with Lane going further into his range from haunting whispers to the huge wails of the powerful chorus. This is an all-time grunge classic, Man in the Box.
Definitely one of the heaviest songs to play on the radio in the 90s, I think. And definitely one of the darkest lyrically, too. You just didn't hear that type of stuff back then. It's an iconic song. Faux show.
Sea of Sorrow, the opening guitar work from Cantrell has a classic rock vibe. There's heavy guitar work throughout with a melodic hook.
Beautiful intro into this thing with the piano and the super bluesy guitar. Now, once we get into the meat of this one, that's where you can really start hearing that grunge, like that definitive grunge sound. And how great is the fucking solo on this song?
Cantrell's guitar work throughout this entire album, and always is great. Bleed the Freak. The more quiet verses build into the explosive choruses. I really like Cantrell's guitar work through the bridge, and there's creepy whispering and laughing going on behind it all. You might only be able to hear that on headphones, but go ahead and give it a listen. It adds a whole different layer of dark.
This song, though, just has such a desolate vibe to it all the way through. Definitely one of the standouts on the album, though.
Next track is I Can't Remember. They build a haunting atmosphere with this one. The melodic melodies and cryptic lyrics create an introspective look. There's a note Staley hits right before the final solo that shows off the incredible range that this guy had.
It wasn't the brown note, was it? Because that would not be good for listeners. I'm just saying. So...
I can't remember.
If the last song did not have you feeling dejected, this one will do it. These guys know how to create a vibe with their music, and that vibe is dark and moody.
They touch the feels. Love, Hate, Love. It's the longest song on the album at just over 6 minutes. It's a slow, brooding build into a crescendo of crushing riffs and intensity. You can feel the pain in the lyrics through Lane's vocal delivery.
Yeah, very enchanting intro to this one, leading into another dark, bleak Alice in Chains tune.
It ain't like that. Cool little solo in this one.
Is.
But otherwise, it just kind of feels like a filler track.
Interesting.
You like this one?
Very interesting. I think this is objectively the best song on the album.
I mean,
It's got that super chug throughout that sounds so heavy it could plow through a fucking brick wall. Super catchy vocal hook and some serious shredding.
hey, man, we just heard different things, I guess.
Yeah.
Sunshine. This one chugs along, continuing the mood of the album, but doesn't really stand out.
Sunshine. Ironically, for a song called Sunshine, this is one of the darkest songs on the album.
There is no fucking sunshine
Lyrically.
on an Alice in Chains album. I'm just going to let you know right now.
Am I too contagious, full of sick desire? Am I that I promise, burning corpsed pyre? So that prompted me to dig into the origin of this song a little. And apparently this song is a song that was written by Jerry Cantrell about his mother who had passed away.
Oh.
And you can kind of feel that, I think, really during the guitar solo especially. It's got a very, like, funeral-esque vibe to it.
That's like every song in their catalog.
That's
It's
that's
dark.
true.
It's dark, man.
That's true, but those lyrics, I was like,
I didn't
burning
realize-
corpse pyre.
Yeah, I mean, that's Put You Down. After the last two tracks, this one comes out with some more energy. It's got a catchy chorus and infectious riffs filled with some groove.
Yeah, musically, this one's got like almost an '80s Motley Crue type vibe to it. It's a good song. It's not a song that I would listen to outside of the context of this album, though.
Yeah, it's not one that I go on, see. Confusion is next. The verses are slow and gloomy that build into the huge choruses that Lane belts out.
Yeah, this is my favorite type of Alice in Chains song, to be honest. It's slow, melodic, and wistful. This song captures the essence of the Seattle sound perfectly, in my opinion. The only thing I would say is that this song should have been the album closer, in my opinion. But we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Okay. I Know Something About You. There's some funk to this riffing. It's some more upbeat track that doesn't really fit in with the rest of the album, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, totally. A random funk song thrown in the middle of the album. Like, what the hell is going on?
What's at the end? But yeah, either way.
I'm all about it, but the song does stand out like a sore thumb on this album. Like, if you picture Corey Glover singing on this track, it's a whole different band at that point.
Pretty much. Real Thing is the closer. It starts off slow, but belts his way in. It's undeniable. He can just say, yeah, 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 and it comes off with so much passion and grit. He does it multiple times throughout this album, just saying random shit. But the way he delivers it makes it believable.
Real Thing. Cool ass song. It's basically a blues song with much heavier guitar and more aggressive lyrics. But I would have totally switched this song with Confusion. That's just my opinion. But I
Put
feel
Confusion
like,
as the closer.
yeah, because I think this one like kept the momentum going and would bring you nicely to Confusion, which would really close it out. Really,
And then
cool,
probably
with a cool
cut
vibe.
And probably cut I Know You Something About You because it don't fit with the album. Put it on one of
I
the
would cut
million EPs that they have.
It's fun. I love some funk music, but it
is,
came
but
out
just
of
don't
nowhere.
fit.
It's like, what?
It don't fit. Overall, what'd you think of the album?
This is a hell of a debut album, I think. Quite an introduction to the band. It's not their best work. It mainly suffers from being a little bit too long,
Yep.
which that was the case with most albums that came out in the 90s, as we've talked about
Yeah.
recently. Almost every album that came out in the 90s was at least a song or two too long.
Yeah, pretty much every
But-
single one.
The problem is maybe people that were our age in the 90s, maybe they didn't agree. Maybe they liked the longer albums. For me, 45 minutes is the sweet spot.
It is 40,
Give or take in
45
either
minutes,
direction,
yeah.
but 45 minutes, that's the sweet spot. That said, though, this is a great fucking album. I've never had a bad time listening to it. And when I listen to it, I don't really skip songs, even the ones I don't like as well. If I were arranging the songs, I would arrange them differently and I would cut a few. But Facelift is a 4.5 out of 6 upside down pentagrams.
Nice. It's gloomy. It's depressing. There's sludgy riffing, haunting melodies, explosive choruses. It's packed full of emotion with Lane's incredible range. Facelift was a groundbreaking album for grunge that only suffers for being just a bit too long. You cut 3, maybe 4 of these tracks off of here, and it's perfect. But that was this era. As Jason mentioned, the 90s, a lot of albums are like this. 12-ish songs, an hour in length. It's just a bit too much. Regardless, it's a solid album for a rainy day. And it lays the groundwork for what's about to happen on the next album. I give Facelift a 5 out of 6.
All